YouTube, welcome to another oil painting video. Today we are working on a 16 by 20 inch canvas. The canvas has already been toned with oil paint, so this is just safflower oil with a little bit of spike lavender. This is black, brown, and a little bit of yellow. But as you see here, the canvas is all prepared and ready for painting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block in the background first. And this is just black and raw umber. So this is going to be a portrait of a woman in a yellow dress. I know, such a creative title. I'm so great at titling things, aren't I? No, I'm the worst when it comes to titling stuff. But you see how the canvas is all nice and slick and ready to accept the paint. By the way, anyone that's been curious about this new series of videos, we will have art prints available as soon as tomorrow. I finally got the right paper, and the paper printed out pretty good. I'm actually kind of happy with it. Something I did on my own. Alright, so the hands are going to be crossed over, all fancy like. This is going to be our landmark. Hey Gigi, hey Marius, welcome, welcome. This is going to be our landmark right here. This is going to be the bottom of, whatever, her right hand, and her left hand is going to fit somewhere over there, something like that. But anyway, let's go ahead and, again, this is black and raw umber for the background. Anyone that lives in the Northern Virginia area, let me know. If you go to this place called Workhouse, I feel like I made a mistake going there once. They have an open figure group, and I thought it was a long pose, but it wasn't. But anyway, if you are in the Northern Virginia area, let me know. Enough of that. So this is going to be the dark for the model's hair. Hey, Art of Scattered Mind. Oh, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for watching the streams. I'm so honored to have you here. You've been watching the streams for a while. That's awesome. This one is going to be action-packed, everyone. This is going to be a Rembrandt type portrait painting. That simple, basic background and stuff like that. Dark brown background with a hint of blue. Now you can tell it's glaring a little bit up here because that's a lot of paint that's on this canvas. Anyway, so one head length down is the chest. So this is as simple as drawing can get. Maybe let's say the chest is going to land somewhere over there. Move the head up to about there. This is as simple as it's going to get. Cast shadow over here. Let's see. You wrote the painting is going to cost an arm and a leg. Well, there's only arms in this. Alright, so the head is going to be over there. Now I'm going to mix a color. And we are painting in the Alla Prima approach. I got a new color today, everybody. I went to the store. Again, thank you so much for the super chats and everything. This is a cadmium-free... I'll let you know if I like it or not. Cadmium-free yellow deep. Cadmium yellow deep, cadmium-free. And because the canvas is so dark, it makes the... It's kind of making the environment look a little strange, but we'll get into it as we go. Alright, so this is where the top of the head is going to fit. And we'll figure out all the details with that later. Neck. Somewhere over there. Shoulders. Okay. Shoulder here. Going to give us room for the yellow dress. No, this is not a portrait of Lucy. I'm sure someone's going to ask. It's not a portrait of Lucy. I will paint a portrait of her in this style later on. This is more kind of improv, but I'm already thinking of a portrait of Lucy in this style. Maybe that one will be a 4 or 5 hour stream because that will be a lot more difficult. The arms are going to fit somewhere over here. What's going on, everybody? Mark L, GG, Art of Scattered Mind, Marius. What's going on, everybody? Alright, so this hand is over here. This hand is over here. Now you can see that the model's hand is crossed. Remember, hands, really simple. Starts off as a mitten, turns into a claw, and then eventually it looks like a hand. We go from mitten to claw, then to hand. Okay, the shoulder is going to land somewhere about there, which is going to make this edge a little bit further back. New problem. We're working in the wet on wet technique in oil painting. Look, this is how simple it can be. Start off your portrait like this, a little smiley face, and we're good to go. That is how simple this start can be. Push this shape back a little bit over there. And now we're going to add some details for the dress. Hey Tipu, welcome everybody. Alright, let's try out this cadmium-free yellow deep. So I'm using cadmium-free yellow deep. By the way, this palette is full of paint. I was painting this morning. I'm doing 2 painting sessions, potentially 3 today. Like I told you, I found a group that's doing short poses. I'm not really that interested in short poses, but whatever. It's a way to connect with people. Okay, so I'll let you know what I think about the cadmium-free yellow. Okay, so the dress is gonna go right up here. I know, right? I should use the face as my thumbnail. That's how you start a face. Watch me start like every portrait like that, just to show you how simple it can start. And the paint is quite free, so we can do whatever we want. Alright, so here's the a sleeve on this side, and a little bit of detail for the dress over here. Now you can tell I'm prioritizing the dress. I could care less about the face right now. I could paint a Bugs Bunny on there and it wouldn't change a thing. Okay, so now yellow planes for the dress. So we have black and yellow currently. Light planes for the dress. Okay, so so far the cadmium-free yellow stinks. It's not that good, which kind of annoys me because I paid $20 for that darn thing. It doesn't have the power that the cadmium yellow has. This is annoying me. However, I do have somewhere in my arsenal of paints, somewhere in here, I have a chrome yellow, which is a lead yellow. Honestly, you really get what you pay for when you get materials. Hey Pissarro, I'm glad you like the technique. Okay, so far the cadmium-free yellow stinks. It's not as good as the regular cadmium. It's just no good. But whatever. I'm gonna put a little bit of orangey cadmium red, and there you go. Again, this is going to be where we're gonna place the hand. So we gotta make sure that doesn't move very much. So this yellow dress is gonna have some hints of orange. There we go. That's the color we want. That is the color that we want, everybody. Okay, so good. I'm glad that I have this color. And we have the dress somewhat placed now. Of course, I have the shoulders a little bit, I want to say a little bit wide yet again, so this is going to end up shrinking the composition just a little bit, but this is our landmark. Top of the head, bottom of the chin, gives us the chest, and the hands fit over here. We can put some little shapes here for where the fingers are going to fit. Somewhere about like that. I don't know. Fingers are going to be over there. This is how simple this can start. Like I said, it goes from a mitten to a claw, and then from a claw, it will definitely turn into a hand. Now I know that you must really like that smiley face, and as much as I want to keep that smiley face, I kind of have to start painting some stuff for the face. So now I'm going to go in with some planes, and this is, again, decent enough for the placement. And sorry, I know you really liked that start, but hey, you know what? Maybe that landed in the correct place. Who knows? Maybe that landed in the correct spot for the eye sockets. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, so now the bottom of the nose, and you know, the mouth might have actually landed somewhere over there. Perhaps it did. I don't know. So the mouth, yeah, somewhere over there. So let's go ahead and create a halftone, and we're gonna paint some form into the halftone. Bottom of the chin is gonna fit over there. Let's see. Oh, I'm glad you liked the yellow, Jackie. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I know you must have liked the smiley face, but we've got to start adding some planes now. I know. So there's the top of the forehead. A little bit of light for where the nose is going to fall. Now, I need to make a decision right now on the model's head. The turn, tip, turn, and tilt. So like I said, I'm using a reference, but I'm also making some stuff up. So I'm going to turn the head into a 3/4 view with a little bit of a tilt. And yes, I do have to make some stuff up because I am using a copyright-free reference, but I told you all once before, I told you twice, I told you so many times that just because it says copyright-free does not mean it'll be copyright-free forever. So anyway, so this is going to be the side plane of the nose, and this is what's going to make it look like it is in 3/4 view. So I'm switching to some size 4 bristle brushes. I'm loading the paintbrush up with a lot of paint, and we're going to start to put in some side planes for the nose. The nose is a very important placement place marker for the tip, turn, tilt of the head. So I'm going to say that side plane of the nose is right there, and the size of the head is too big right now, so I'm so sorry about that smiley face, but it's going to have to change. I toned the canvas right before painting. I toned it with safflower oil and spike lavender oil, so that's pretty much all the oil that I'm going to need for this painting. Okay, so cheekbones right over there. Looking at the structure of the face. Oh, I'm so sorry, the eye sockets landed in the wrong spot when we drew that smiley face in the beginning. Maybe, just maybe, we'll try that smiley face out again in the future if you liked it. If you didn't like it, let me know. But it's just fun letting the shapes be loose. Okay, so there's a little bit of light there for where the eye socket is going to be, and for the eyes we just want a simplified shape. Hey Grace, welcome. Okay, so eye socket shape Like I said, I am drawing with the shapes. I'm not too worried about anything other than shapes. So proportion wise, this still seems to be okay. Now we're going to work our way down towards the mouth. A little bit of light underneath of the nose gives us the cast shadow of the nose. So let's go ahead and put something down for that. And I'll zoom you into the face now so you can see how we're going to start to develop it. Cast shadow for the nose. Nice and simple. So this is going to be our anchor point, everyone. So we're going to adjust all the shapes around the face relative to the nose. Now obviously the face is too wide relative to the rest of the body. So we just use this background and push right there. And this gives us the angle for the 3/4 positioning. Now zoom back out and you'll see that it starts to fit in with the body. And since she is in 3/4, let's just kind of move this shoulder over, whatever, we don't care. Move it over a little bit down there. And hey, Harjot, yo, Harjot, if you want to meet up tonight, I might go to the workhouse place. I think it's, I don't know where it is. I think it's in Reston, but they got a thing on Thursdays. So long time no see, Harjot. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Hey, Oling Dog Design. Did you change from Oling Owl to Oling Dog Design? Alright, so a little bit of light here for the mouth. Again, kind of like a robot. We'll turn the model into a robot just to start off. So, like I said, from a distance, this is starting to read. Now, obviously, the neck is going to fit over here. I'm not worried about any little minutia. I don't care about it. We have plenty of time. We have all the time in the world to add the subtlety. So let's go into, oh, you're in Georgia right now for training. I'll be back in a week or so. Hey, Lady Death. Okay, so eyebrows. Eyes are we're gonna guess that they're gonna be over there. And the distance between the eyes is roughly the length of one of the eyes usually, but everyone varies a little bit. This will give me an angle for the face. See a little bit of an angle. And the nose right there. A little bit of alizarin to create a dark red. For the shadow tone of the mouth. And yes, it is really this easy. It's really this easy when you've been painting for nearly 20 years, but when you practice working with shapes, it becomes easier because you get better. Oling dog for a long time. Man, I'm losing it today. Yes, Pissarro, these days I am applying the safflower oil spike lavender onto the canvas prior to painting for every single painting, because these paintings will be finished in one day. So I need to work with the quickness. I don't have time to sit around and second guess drawing or worry about proportion or think about what I'm going to have for lunch. I have to paint fast. I have to paint efficient, and your boy's got to make a living. So, everything's on the line with these paintings. Everything. And yes, I will be selling prints of these. We'll be doing craft fairs. I finally have the prints ready for you. I'm gonna talk it over with Lucy to decide what we're gonna charge per print. I will sign the backside of the print, and I will write a little letter to you on the backside of each print. That much I know. Hey Celeste, welcome, welcome. Hey George Perez. ¿Qué onda? Estamos pintando un retrato con pintura de oil paint. I don't know how you say that in Spanish. Thank you so much for the super chat, Celeste. Thank you so much. It really helps out. I dished out so much money today at the Plaza Art Store. That really helps. Okay, a little bit of light for the nose. Once again, looking at the big picture is important. So before we lock in any details, we need to keep the big picture in mind. Okay, this once looked like a smiley face, and now it looks like a smiley face with a little bit more finesse. So thank you so much for the super chat, Celeste. That really helps out so much. Yeah, just contact me on my Instagram or any of the platforms. I can definitely send you an art print very soon. Art supplies are so expensive, y'all. I spent $20 on this cadmium-free yellow deep, and it's trash. It's not as good as the cadmium yellow. The best cadmium yellow I've ever had is Grumbacher cadmium yellow deep. That's the best cadmium yellow that I've ever had. And let's give a little bit of a mid-tone right there. Okay, and a darker mid-tone on the side of the face. And now we are spending way too much time on the face. The face is suggested. It's very versatile. Everything can move. But now we have to move towards the rest of the body. Because if you spend all day working on the face, you're going to realize that your drawing is not as accurate as you want it to be. So keeping the shapes loose and simple is what we're going to do. Pintura al oleo, that's how we say it. Oh, you spent $20 on cobalt blue. Whoa. Yeah, Grumbacher cadmium yellow deep is the best. The best cadmium yellow I've ever had. And that color was recommended to me by someone in a painting group. Like I said, if you find yourself in Northern Virginia, if you're there today and you want to meet up at that workhouse art group, whatever it's called, let me know. It's at 6, so it's 1 hour after this stream ends. And just like clockwork, there goes that whatchamacallit, construction going on upstairs. Kind of annoying, but I did see a comment that someone did not like that I was turning off the audio when the construction was going on. So if that's what you would like, I'll just keep the audio on. George, you wrote, how do you know when to apply cool and warm colors and achieve a good balance? So, George, the best way to work with color when it comes to cool and warm colors, especially with a portrait, is to do a color study. So in order to do a color study, you want to paint a model, if possible, from real life. We always have ourselves. We can do self-portraits, but paint yourself using daylight, and that'll give you the best. But if you want like a quick and easy answer, the lips are red. Right under the lips is typically green. The nose is kind of pink. Right next to the nose is typically some kind of blue. And there's usually, let's exaggerate a little bit, a light blue shape. If you look at pretty much all the old masters, there's almost always some kind of light blue right over there. And that's just kind of a convention that people use right here and right there. And you can also look at it as, let's exaggerate. So again, this is how easy this is. I'll show you. This is usually the yellow band. I'm going to exaggerate it. I'm going to paint it really yellow. Okay. And the cheekbones are the pink band. So right here is pink. So I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit. Right here is pink. And right underneath of here, so we got yellow, you've got pink, and then you have green. So I've got a cadmium green that I'll use. So right under here, this band or zone is green. So a lot of stuff I just threw at you, but I'll always talk about it as I go. Mark L, thank you so much for the super chat. That really, really helps out so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. You could do warm shadow, cool light as well, but that's usually a convention just because if you have a warm light, then everything by default will look cool, vice versa. Thank you so much, Mark L, for the super chat. That helps out so much. You guys basically almost covered this cadmium yellow free whatever deep. Is it strong? I don't know. Let's just apply it out of the tube, right? Why not? How bright of a yellow is this? Sometimes the only way to test it is to just use a lot of it. So this is the cadmium yellow deep, and look at that. That's actually quite transparent. So thank you so much for the super chats, and I will. You know what I'll probably do is go back to the store tomorrow and get the actual cadmium. You know, but that's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's kind of bad, but it's not that bad. So let's add this here, just straight up out of the tube, like that. Okay, so that's okay. It's not too bad actually. So now let's get into the hands, and I'm going to go ahead and paint light on the hands, and then we'll add the shadow tone. So let's say the light is gonna land somewhere over here for the models. What is this? Her left arm. The knuckles are gonna be over here. I tend to like to exaggerate the red on the knuckles. That's just how I like to start. Thanks, Celeste. It does. You know, it's up alright. And this is her left. Is it her left? Her left arm. So the thumb should be over here. Let's make sure I don't put the thumb in the wrong spot. So the thumb is going to be over there. Like I said, from a mitten to a claw. From a claw to a hand. So there's the thumb. There's the thumbnail. Just kidding. It's the thumb. And use one of the fingers to group in the hand, the mitten. Okay, so there you have that. And here's the angle for this hand. Takes us all the way to the elbow. This goes up to there, and we'll put a little bit of a cast shadow over here. Hey Shavu. The transparency is actually kind of nice. You're correct. It's not too bad. I mean, it's definitely not a cadmium. Not at all. It's not acting like a cadmium, but the transparency is nice. I thought it would be better than the Windsor yellow, and it is. It is a little bit denser, I guess, than the Windsor yellow, but still quite transparent. A little dark over here. As this starts to make its way towards the dark shapes of the dress, as the edge of the dress. Now again, we've got to be careful with the proportion of the head. It has a tendency to get too big. So this is not a tall model. I have the option, I have the ability to shrink the head and make the model taller if I want to. Do I want to? Probably not. Okay, shoulder is going to land over there. So that's going to be a dark accent for the shoulder. There's going to be a cast shadow over here. Keep everything blocky, nice and simple. Like that. So that when the time comes to make changes, yada yada yada, you already know the rest of that quote. So we're going to put in some of the dark to put in that corner. And you already see the composition is starting to take shape. A little bit more of the yellow for this yellow dress over here. And there's going to be some nice little bands of detail. We're going to put a whole lot of detail on this dress. So we got to move with the quickness. We got to move. So dark over here. For the chest. Okay, dark over there, and there's going to be a little shape here for the dress. Hey GT. Oh, thank you for that comment. I'm glad you like the painting. We're just getting started, everybody. 30 minutes is nothing. It's nothing. That is a blink of an eye in the time span of a painting. Sure, we can do a fully finished looking landscape in 30 minutes because that's all effect. But when there's drawing involved, say a figure or a portrait, well then dang, now we gotta draw. So it takes that much longer. There's the edge of the palm right there. Gives us the finger, the pinky finger, not giving us the finger, but it's the pinky finger. A little bit of light over there. Hey, abstract art, welcome, welcome. Okie dokie now. I've got the cadmium-free yellow, which is nothing like cadmium yellow, unfortunately. Put that yellow shape down there. Dang it, I ran out of yellow for this. Alright, let's go back over here. And the construction workers are doing their thing. Again, yesterday I cut off the audio, but it seems that people didn't like when I did that. So I'll just keep the audio playing. If the construction work noise bothers you, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, so now we punched the yellow, so that's all the yellow we're going to need to work with that. Some little planes for the dress. Turning planes there. Shadow notes for this dress. Over here. Now punch some of the light on the shoulder. Right there. A little bit of a dark shape, sort of orangey with some burnt sienna, cadmium red, Indian yellow, garbage yellow, which is that cadmium free, Windsor yellow, and put some of the reddish notes for the shadow tone over there. Cast shadow. Okay, I'm glad the noise is alright. GG wrote, what did you write? Something, oh, it got removed. Don't know what happened there. Okay, so now we're going to put in that cast shadow for the chest. Keep everything nice and blocky, nice and simple. And you got yourself a really good start now for subtlety, and we achieved it in 35 minutes because we're painting wet onto wet. We're painting with the quickness. Okay, so light over here. And we're going to use this to add more of a shape for the cast shadow, like that. A little bit of a gap here for the shoulder. Nice and simple. No, that's too blocky. And we'll add more detail to that later. That noise, I hate that noise. Trying to block it up. So GG, right, you should set up closed caption for times like this so we can watch and listen. Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta figure that out, but right now I've got a lot going on in my mind with this this painting. Let's get this light for the chest now. Let's get the exact color and exact value like now, so that we can paint the rest of the subtlety on the face, and then of course subtlety for the hands. Okay, so what was I doing? I was painting the light on the chest and I forgot. Okay, so that's about good. That's good enough for that light. Okay, so again, that darkest shape. You're just pretending noise is construction work outside. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. I did try to fix that by turning off the audio yesterday, but some people thought that was worse, so I don't know. Yo no sé qué hacer con esa bulla. I don't know what to do with that noise, y'all. Okay, so there's the shoulder. Okay, so now we've got a decent scaffolding here for the painting, and we can get into details now. With the face, is the face too big? Nah, I think the face is alright. I want a little more for the arms, just because I know what I'm going to do is add subtlety to the face, and then I'm going to move back towards the hands, and then I'm going to move over towards the whatchamacallit, the dress, the yellow dress. So a lot of stuff we gotta do, y'all. A lot of stuff we gotta do. Hakuna Matata, what a wonderful phrase. Means no worries for the rest of your days. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so we'll add the detail to the dress later. We're treating this like a big thing of clay. Okay. Dark for the back of the arm. A little bit of a dark red over here. As we start to add the subtlety. Okay. Or at least we're going to work our way to the subtlety. Quite okay. Back side of the elbow. Everything is Jackie. Everything is G. When you're concentrated, the noise sort of goes away. Everything is good. Okay, that's good. Hopefully. If I seem really awake today, everybody, is because I was all over the place today. I went to buy some cardstock paper for the art prints. I went to the art store to buy the cadmium-free yellow. I bought some more canvases. I started a painting, a figure painting this morning. I'll finish it tomorrow or tonight. I can't show that on YouTube, obviously, because YouTube. And then I found out about that group. I didn't just find out about that group. I already knew of it. A group that meets on Thursdays for quick drawing. I'm not a fan of gesture drawing. I prefer long poses, but it's still something. Still some working from life, I guess. I cannot show a reference, Tipu, and I'm changing things from the reference anyway. So a true reference for this actually doesn't exist. There is a reference for the dress and the face, but things are changing. I apologize for that. I just can't show any references because YouTube. Yeah. That's how I ended up nearly losing my art career, is because I trusted copyright-free references to be copyright-free forever. I apologize for that. That's why this series is more than just faces. As you can see, I'm barely even giving any attention to the face. Hey, Art of Scattered Mind. There's more noise outside your house. Oh, okay. I apologize for the noise outside your house. But I guess, well, that's a good and bad thing. It's bad for you, but it's good for me in the sense that my the construction that's going on upstairs is not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so here's the mitten. It'll get more detailed later on, but this is the mitten. The start of both of the hands. Okie dokie. So we've got everything we want. Now let's go ahead and get into the stuff that you want me to do. I think is the face. So let's do that. Thanks, GG. I hope it'll be fun to do those little quick poses. Alrighty, let's get into the stuff that you want me to do. Now we're gonna get into some smaller shapes for the face. What was once a smiley face is now gonna be more of a human face. So I am putting in a dark shape for the upper eyelid. I'm going to paint a warm dark side plane for the corner of the eye socket, like that. This is a 16 by 20 inch canvas, so we're gonna have a lot more space now with the face. Okay, so there we go, side planes for that. Dark reddish tone over here. And I'm gonna get a bluish color, a bluish gray with a little bit of skin tone. What is a bluish gray with a little bit of skin tone that I typically use on the face? Where is it gonna go? Leave a comment in the comment section of the video. That would mean you've seen a lot of these streams, and that's awesome. For those of you that don't know, it's for the sclera, the white of the eye. We turn her into a demon. Your soul is mine. Your soul is mine. Ha 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 ha. That's what the face looks like when you don't have the pupils. Your soul is mine. And that's how simple you can start. The light for the eyes. I'm gonna leave it like that just for fun. She's possessed. She is possessed because she doesn't like the dress. She is possessed because she doesn't like the dress. Let's make her a little angry. I'm going to move her eyebrows down a little bit, giving a tad bit more structure to the face. And I can choose the proportions, how close the eyebrows are, or how tall the eyebrows are. This is not a commission. I don't have somebody yelling at me to make them look younger, prettier, or put more detail in their eyes or whatever. I don't care. I don't care for any of that stuff. To me, it's a painting, through and through. So I get to choose the likeness. I get to choose the values. Obviously, it's got to maintain light and shadow. But other than that, I get to choose how I want this to look. So boo-hoo, someone that's complaining about likeness. Well, you didn't draw carefully. You didn't map out the proportions. Boo-hoo. We can paint structure. We can paint perspective. All the good stuff needed to make this look real. And we can adjust the painting to look however we want. That is the fine art involved in portrait painting. Portrait painting is a fine art. But unfortunately, it gets overly commercialized. And then there's that oh so awful photograph aesthetic. Right? It's a pissed off zombie. Turn for the nose. Now obviously that's maybe too much, but whatever. Perspective, color, light and shadow, composition. Focus on the fundamentals. Forget the reference. Forget the commission. You do you. Enjoy the process. There goes the background noise. Okay, so now I'm going to put another reddish turning plane there for our pissed off zombie. Now we're going to add more depth to that side plane, a little bit more of a warm color. Okay, so you like the beat? It's the beat of angry zombie that we're painting. Now we're adding some depth to that shadow, and of course we're going to have to work towards the neck. The beat from the construction. Dropping the base. Okay, so now shadow shape for the neck as it moves up in perspective. Maybe not perspective, but just moves up. Now we get to draw the cast shadow that we want. Okay. The dark for the hair. Over here. Add some alizarin to it. Like that. Okay, some more specificity for the hair. More specificity for the hair. Sounds like an MRI. Dang. Okay, so here's the corner of the face. This in there, a little more. Okie dokie. Bet you thought I was going to leave the background dark like that. Well, you thought wrong. So I used the dark in order to help me draw. But I will put a color in the background. I'm going for a blue. I'm using phthalo blue. And whatever is on the brush. Adding more paint to the background. And yes, I chopped off the side of the hair. Okay, obviously the original value of the background was not going to be the final resolve of the background. Now we have more phthalo blue with the black in the background and the umber, I think it was. Now we'll use the same brush with a little bit of red. Add light shapes for the hair because yes, even though the hair is dark, there's still going to be some dark shapes. Dark shapes for the hair for our zombie that we're painting. And now back to dark with a little bit of alizarin. Just like that. Now we have dark shape for the edge of the hair. Okay. Okay, so that's good, that's good. I'll chop that back in later. Alright. So let's go ahead and chop that back. Slowing down a little bit to make sure that the angle is correct. Correct is a relative term. Correct relative to what we want is the answer. Okay, so there is the shape that we want. And from a distance, you'll see that the hair is going to start to kind of fit in with this triangle with a circle composition. Okay, so I know you must really like that zombie look, but before we let too much time go by, it's kind of important to think about the iris. Now, I suppose that the model has an iris and a pupil. I can choose whatever color I want for the eyes. I could paint them green, I could paint them brown, I can paint hazel, I can paint whatever I want. So I'm gonna go with just brown. I know, you're like, well, what happened to the zombie? Plot twist, they found the cure to the zombie virus in The Walking Dead. So now there are no more zombies walking around. So not very zombie-like anymore. And it's kind of crazy, isn't it? How one or maybe two brush strokes and we go from a zombie to human. And now light for the eyes, following in the John Singer Sargent type simplification of form. He didn't invent it. We have Velázquez, Diego Velázquez before him. And even before Velázquez, we have Titian. So just when you thought John Singer Sargent was the biggest genius in the art world, he really wasn't. But he was a great painter. Great painter. The sound from War of the Worlds. Well, I think they're taking a break. Alright, a little bit of a dark alizarin color. Alizarin with some red for the tear ducts. A little bit of drawing adjustment for that. Yeah, we can choose whatever likeness we want. With this one, I may end up having to use the sable brushes. Stay tuned for sable brushes near you. Okay, so dark for the nasal bone. For the wing of the nose, we will put in a dark chop. And yes, chop is a word in painting. There's a chop right there for the start of the wing of the nose. Again, really appreciate the super chats, everybody. It really helps out. And I can't wait to post the art prints. I bought some thick paper, the thickest paper that printer can take. So I'll be printing them in-house, and I'll write you a little message on the back of each print and sign it. And you can get a print of any of the paintings that you want from this series. And you can get multiples. You can get a print of every single one if you want. Okay, so the wing of the nose is there. The bulb of the nose. Michael, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Our cadmium free yellow is now covered. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. Thank you all so much for the super chats. I will get myself a coffee and probably more paint. No worries, Grace. We're going to be here a lot, so it's okay. Okay, so we've got the nose established. Maybe we'll put a little more light for the eye socket. So what I'll do is, after the break, I'll make sure to wash my hands completely, and then I'll show you what the prints look like. Like I said, when Lucy comes back from work, I'll discuss it with her, and we'll take the sample pictures and all that stuff. Or I might just go to that painting group to do some gesture drawing. Action-packed day for me, let me tell you. Okay, so a little bit of light for the upper lip. And then maybe we'll put some light for the lower lip. And we'll say that the face will be ready for subtleties. So the more subtlety we add, the smaller the shapes get, the less we're going to be able to move. So when I say keep your shape simple and easy, such that when the time comes to make changes, those changes are simple, easy to manage. You want to move things as much as you can here in this stage. And then, well, it gets a lot more difficult, and you're not really going to want to move anything anymore. Instead, what you're going to want to do is build. So once again, thank you all so much for the super chat. Hey Jackie, oh, thank you for that question. There's the super chat option on YouTube. I also have the QR code. I think I still have it for my. Let me see if I still have it for my Venmo. If you want to contribute to that, there it is. So all you got to do is scan the QR code. Anybody that wants to support through Venmo, all you got to do is scan the QR code, and let me leave it there for a second. All you got to do is scan it for a couple seconds, take a screenshot or something, and then you can scan the QR code. So I really I'm thankful for any support that we get. But of course, just being here with us is so important to me. So, I appreciate all of you. I really do appreciate all of you. Okay, so I'm going to add some light for the upper lip, and that's going to put the features in the face in a position such that I will not be wanting to move the features anymore. I don't want to have to adjust the proportions anymore. Yes, it is possible to adjust the proportions from there, but you don't want to. You just don't want to. Okay, so now we have some light. She looks kind of upset, and it's because of the eyebrows. I can make her seem less upset. Like I said, we have complete control over every aspect of this painting. So let's raise her eyebrows up, give her more of that contemplative Mona Lisa type look. See how we can change the expression. Now she's kind of worried, but whatever. We're gonna, at least we changed it so that she's not so worried. Okay, so we have that there. A little bit of light here. Change the shape for the lips a little bit. Okay, so basically the proportion now for the placement of the head, it won't change. The hands, they won't change. This will move down probably, but all that building will now happen without having to move anything, say an inch or 2 inches to any direction. So now the painting is at a stage where we can really start to hone in on the specifics and make it as real or unreal as we want to. I'm glad you like the upset look. I'm glad you like the upset look. Alright, so we're going to take a break. I'm going to play a video for you during the break. A 5 to 7 minutes, basically 7-minute, acrylic painting time-lapse of an eye. And when I return, I will show you what the prints are going to look like for the paintings in this series. So hopefully you'll enjoy that acrylic painting video, and we'll be right back. What's going on? Welcome to 7 minutes acrylic eye with color. This is a time lapse. So the video has been sped up so that you can watch it within a approximately 7-minute time range. What you're seeing here is a black and white underpainting, again with acrylic paint. We're painting wet onto dry. However, the acrylic paint allows itself to work wet into wet within the time interval of about, I would say, 2 to 5 minutes until it's completely dry. So as you can see here, in contrast to the technique we use in oil paint, this is very much wet onto dry. I really recommend doing these studies of eyes because it helps you not only work with some anatomy, but also different structures, such as the curvature of the eye. As you can see, there is like a sphere. It has a highlight, it has light and shadow, and it has middle tones. Now you see how we're putting in planes onto the eye socket. Now this is a very, very fast-paced video, but we have done a similar one to this in oil paint, minus the color, in real time. I just want to show that you can create these gradations with acrylic, and we have several live streams and pre-recorded videos already done on the YouTube channel that shows acrylic. This is an excellent study to do when you're trying to work on your values, and then eventually it will transition into color. Remember, if you do decide to recreate any one of the paintings done on the channel, including these fast-paced studies, please post it to your social medias with the hashtag #UpariArtist. Now we're putting in values surrounding the eyes. There's a side plane underneath of the tear duct of the eye. And now we've covered the entire surface, pretty much like a cast drawing or a cast painting. And it dries within about 5 minutes or so. Now we're pushing the darks. One thing to notice is that acrylic does dry a little bit darker in the lights, but then the darks themselves will actually fade slightly. Now that transition was done wet onto wet, which means you have to mix that value within about a 2 to 5 minute time range. Now we're pushing the darks even further. And now we're starting to add some hints of color. A little bit of brown. And now we're putting in some skin tone. And the mixtures are done on a dry palette, so I'm mixing each color as I go, and then I'm adding it directly onto the surface. Wet onto dry. Again, to show you that these types of paintings can be done with acrylic paint as well. A little bit of a warmer gray for the sclera, the white of the eye. Just like we did with the underpainting, but it's much easier to add color when you have an underlayer that has careful drawing in light and shadow. Now you see we're filling in some of the mid-tones on the upper eyelid. A little bit of a yellowish color on the side plane of the eye socket. And now we're putting more of a reddish color, kind of exaggerating color a little bit. Which you're totally allowed to do, by the way, with a quick study of an eye. Real time, this video was approximately almost an hour long. So an hour condensed into about 7 minutes. A little more than 7 minutes. Now we're rounding out the eyebrow. Notice how the eyebrows are not painted on. They're literally painted on, but they're not meant to look painted on. They have soft edges, light and shadow. Now you may have seen there that the paint in the light did dry a little bit darker, but the more layers you add, the less that effect will be. Let's just say it won't be interrupting the process. The more and more layers you add, the truer the values are going to look. The values will look more accurate. Here's last minute little color changes. A little bit of blue for the highlight on the eye. Just little last minute color adjustments on this. More light on the eyebrow. So once again, this was accelerated, but we do have a monochrome oil painting eye that was done in about 5 to 7 minutes. Of course, acrylic takes a little bit longer, but this was a fun little break time video for you to show that this can also be done with acrylic. Alrighty, so now we will start to add the subtlety to the painting, but like I promised, I'll show you these art prints. I did wash my hands, but somehow I ended up getting paint on the backside of one of the prints, but I guess these are samples anyway. So this is actually quite thick paper. So these are going to be art prints that I'll be selling soon. I've got the paper. It's thick enough, really. It's kind of pretty hefty cardstock paper, but yeah, I will sign the back of it and I'll write a little note to you. But yes, we will have prints very, very soon. In fact, we already got them. Alright, so let's get into the subtlety of the face now. And let me know if the audio and everything is working all right. So now we're going to get into subtlety of the face. We're going to start to build smaller planes onto these bigger ones. Okay, so light over here. So these planes are going to build little by little using the alla prima technique. Similar light, but a tad bit more, I don't know, I guess pink. Over here. More light for the nose. This will also give me more width. So this is all about the nose right now, because this is going to give me the positioning of the face. Now we're going to have the wing of the nose. Positioning for the wing of the nose there. And now I'm going to bring the sables out. These are sable brushes, Silverbrush Grand Prix. Gonna add a dark, by the way, I don't clean the brushes, I just leave them in a container of linseed oil. Dark for the nose. There we go. Now you see the nose is in 3/4. Perfect. Now I'll use this shape for the upper eyelid. Just like that. Okay. Now more for the upper eyelid over here. Just like that. A little drawing adjustment for the chin. That's one way to do a chin up. Now this angle, side of the face, reflection, reflected light. It's a little bit of an orangey tone. Now we'll get another sable brush. 2 sable brushes now. Again, I don't clean any of these brushes, I just leave them in a container of linseed oil. I'm glad you liked the prints. Hey, Art of Scattered Mind. You wrote, would the linseed oil container work for brushes used with water mixable oil paints? Well, yeah, you want to make sure that the linseed oil is water mixable linseed oil, and if that's the case, then yeah. However, because of water mixable, you could also leave it in water instead. If I were you, I'd probably just leave it in water, because it won't dry in the water. Light for the sclera. Just got that Mona Lisa look. From a zombie to a angry Mona Lisa look. and I will adjust the mouth. And let's say, the other sable brush. I have a light brush and a dark brush for the sables. There. Give her that Mona Lisa smile. Mona Zombie. Give that Mona Zombie smile. Okay. So now we've got that situated. Let's drop in a cooler note for the edge of the mouth. It's a bit light, but that's okay. Okie dokie. Now we'll go to the eyebrows. Again, we can do whatever we want with the eyebrows. That kind of Mona Lisa look. Thanks, Celeste. There's some shapes. More for that Mona Lisa look. Mona Zombie. Mona Zombie. Appreciate the likes on the Instagram post. I posted yesterday's painting on Instagram. Now some careful blending. I don't like the forehead, so I will adjust it. It was too square before. Now the hair, the dark for the hair, just like that. Now we can get the value, the true value that we want for the skull, the frontal eminence of the skull. But first, like I said before, kind of a yellowish tone for the side planes of the forehead. Yellowish, I know you can't see it. Now we gotta blend away at this kind of carefully. Go back to the darks, and I'm preparing for the brightest light. So we will make an attempt to finish that section off in one go. We'll find out if that works. Okay, side plane of the frontal eminence of the skull. Right here is the frontal ridge of the skull. Softening the edge for the eyebrow. How much pressure we put on the brush is important now, because it will determine the outcome, because we are painting wet on wet now. We'll start to build those light planes, starting with the frontal eminence, the frontal ridge of the skull. This is superciliary arch. Okay, now frontal. The frontal bone there. Now it starts to give us the curvature of the skull. Just like that. Okie dokie. Now go back to the eyes. Adjust the shape for the eyelid. Okay. Now some subtlety around the eyes. Let's say we'll push this value darker. And have a little more light now for the cheek, and we'll add some red to it. I know you can't see the mixture, but there's a lot of stuff going on this palette. A lot. As it is a bigger painting, I can't really have that palette on the side of the painting for you. Plus it kind of hurts my shoulder to paint that way. Work up to about there, and we'll adjust that light with the sable. Okay, I'm adjusting the lights as we go. Tear duct, plane. Now back to the side plane of the face. This should match up with the other side. And this is a tad bit too strong. I'll flatten that out a little bit. It's kind of bothering me. And let this carry all the way to the side. Okie dokie. Eyebrows. A little bit more flat. This is going to be flatter as well. Lightest part of the cheek will be right here. And same thing over here. Which will mean that the light above the upper lip needs to get brighter too in contrast. Which will adjust the light on the upper lip as well as the lower lip. So a tad bit more light up there. While we have this, we can adjust the drawing like that. Okay, now the lower lip. I may end up needing a bigger palette. This little studio palette may not be big enough. Light on the lower lip. Adjustment. Now, if you can reason with the shapes, you don't need too many careful measurements. So beware of over measuring anything. We have control, complete control over how we want the lips to look. Now obviously, as I added more light, I made the lower lip too big. So that's something I can adjust. By working with the shapes. Now you see, one little brush stroke can do so much. So don't stress over careful measuring, careful drawing. You're gonna paint on it anyway. Why not just paint? Now there's gonna be some light on the hair. Now we can start to put in some plane changes for the dark of the hair. Little curls for the hair. Soften some edges while we can. Now the face is looking a little bit more 3D. Eyebrows a little darker now. That easy. That easy. So simple. Once you realize it's all just shapes and maybe some annoying construction work upstairs, you realize it's not that bad. It's just shapes. It's no big secret. It's just shapes. What was once a line earlier is now going to be turned into a plane. Now you see that's starting to round out quite easily. Nice and simple. You have control over everything here. What about the expression? Somewhat now calm expression. But it'll adjust as we go. And maybe we can perhaps we can make the face a little wider and add the redness of the cheeks as we go. Perhaps we can. Using the sable brush, I'm adding some alizarin and cadmium red right there. Now be careful that it doesn't get as pink as the lips. But again, you have control over that. Complete control. It's that simple. That simple. Light for the cheek right there. No problem. That leads us up towards the maxilla. No problem. Soft edge cuts right into the side plane of the nose. Creates more depth for the nose. No problem. As we do that, we're leaving the dark to be a cast shadow. Using the alla prima painting technique, we can expedite the painting process and not have to worry about a careful preliminary drawing. So long as we work with form, it's all gonna be fine. Okay, nice and simple. Now that's enough for some subtlety on the face. What did that took about 30 minutes or so. So subtlety on the face. Now we're gonna jump to the big picture. And we're gonna get to the hands. First, start off zoomed out. And then we'll zoom back in. I'm gonna put the sable brushes away. And we're gonna work with the bristles. Now as we zoomed out, I think that jaw is still too big. Adjusting it. Single brush stroke. And I feel like I want to adjust that shape. I don't know why, I just felt like adjusting that. Okay. So let's get into the hands now. Wrist bone right there. Knuckle right here. Tells me that the hand might be too big. So, like I said, not too many major changes. Just small ones. So I'm moving the knuckle just a centimeter perhaps there. And that's going to move the shapes for our mitten. To about there. The edge of the thumb. Right about there. Here comes the sneeze. Excuse me. Hey, somebody's talking about me. Who's talking about me? Okay. Red for the knuckles, right here. And that completes the drawing adjustments for the hand. Wrist bone over here. And what we do to one side, we do to the next. The proportion on this hand, it seems fine to me. I don't feel like there's so much that I want to adjust. I don't think there's anything I want to adjust. So I'll go in with black, alizarin, and I will put in the shapes for the bottom of the mitten, which will now turn into a claw. And quickly will turn into a hand. So there's the ring finger and the pointer finger. If you've been watching these streams for a while, you know that I like painting hands. Now we're going to add the pointer finger. shape for the pointer finger, knuckle. And if you've been watching these videos for a while, you know that I like to add more red to the knuckles, because they tend to get red anyway. Obviously that's too red, but it's fine to keep it like that for now, because alla prima, wet on wet, means we are going to paint right onto this plane, just like that. And now that gives us a shadow, somewhat gives us a shadow. Okay, now some more light for the fingers. That's the middle finger, pointer finger. And the yellow next to the finger, we're just adding the cadmium yellow, or I guess the cadmium free yellow. We're gonna add a lot of stuff to that dress soon, so best to just simplify it so that we can build onto it later. We're going to build onto the dress after we develop the hands. We'll blur that out because we're going to add some specifics to that hand soon. As soon as right now. Leave the dark accents there. So now we're entering into the claw form. Stages of the hand are mitten, claw, and then hand. Start it off as a mitten, turn it into a claw, and then it will become a hand. So right now, we're in the claw form. Now we can start to add some light to the knuckle. Right about here. Knuckle sandwich. Side plane for that knuckle. Knuckle for the pointer finger here. Now you see why I like to exaggerate the red at first. Now light over here, giving us very specific plane changes. Knuckle for the pinky. And back to the light of the other hand. Now this cast shadow is going to have to be specific. It's just a line, almost just a line. Of course we know nothing is a line, but as close to a line as it will be. Because it is resting right on the other hand. Cast shadow. This should be rather dark. And just like that, it starts to resemble a hand. Now some light for, let's make it a little bit cooler. Add some blue-green. Not too much, because then it's gonna look like a zombie. Okay, a little bit of light there. Kind of greenish, but not really too green. Back to pink. Go back to the dark. A little bit of alizarin. Now we can push that accent. Like that. Now it's starting to enter into the realm of a hand. Say it with me now. The claw. It used to be a claw, but now it's turning into a hand. Middle finger. And painting wet into wet, we can just kind of suggest some of the form on the hand. Now switching brushes, this accent. Okay, now moving from that was the ring finger. Add a little more light to the ring finger. Now we'll go to the pinky. A little bit of light on the pinky. Back to the dark. Right here. Differentiate that plane. Now, bottom of the pinky, where it rests on the dress. Bottom of this finger, add a curve so it's not so static. A little bit of red. Back to the light for the knuckles. Now we can zoom you in. So you can see the hands start to develop. A bit of light on the thumb. Dark. Push that shadow. Same thing here. Now we'll use that for the drawing. And we want to flatten this out because we will add detail to it later. Now you see how fun hands are? Claw to a mitten, to a claw, to a hand. Mitten, claw, hand. There might be a stage in between, but you know, we'll just refer to it like that. I just kind of made that up. I'm glad you like that simplification. Okay, so now we'll change hues to a greenish greenish blue for some lights on the hand. And for some reason, green on the hand here to contrast the pinks. It kind of works. Plane change there. For the corner of the wrist. How would I apply that to a face? I don't know. I have no clue. I have no clue. A face typically just starts off as a mass of light and dark and then form. Yeah, I don't know actually. Okay, so now yellow Markel. No, I didn't say what's on the palette because I've got a lot of stuff. But so ranging from right to left, we have white, lead white, lemon yellow, a cadmium yellow deep, or the cadmium free that I bought earlier today, Windsor yellow, Indian yellow, raw umber, burnt sienna, cadmium red light, alizarin crimson, raw umber, cadmium green, terra vert, or sap green. They're basically the same. Phthalo blue and black at the end. A lot of stuff on this palette, as we are painting every day, so I'm even painting on the weekends. Not streaming, but just painting on the weekends. A lot of painting going on. And I tell you what, with all the painting that I do, having the palette on the side really hurts my shoulder. So having the palette on the table makes it such that I can drop my arm and relax my arm a little bit. And it's not a problem unless you're painting every day. Mass, planes, volume, something like that. Oh, you know what? I can make a t-shirt out of that. Claw. What is it? Dang it, I forgot. Mitten, claw, hand. Yo, I can make a t-shirt out of that. Lucy's gonna be so happy. I can make a t-shirt out of that. Huh. What do you say? There is a spider on my foot. Or something like that. I don't know what that was. Something suspicious going on in here. Smiley face to possessed eyebrows. Smiley face to zombie to possessed to eyebrows to just right. That's funny. Oh, the window to the wall song. That's funny. Hey, Jonas. Yeah, I guess we could say smiley face to zombie to possessed to eyebrows to just right. There's something flying in here. Or some kind of bug in here. Smiley face to zombie to possession to the eyebrows. That's pretty funny. Yeah, the t-shirt that says planes, 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 and then one with like literally like a mitten to a claw to a hand. And then planes, 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 planes. That's not a bad idea. Okay, so now we have some stuff for the hands. Now we add some form. Or shall I say some light to the arm. And then we are going to start to add shapes to the shirt or the dress. So the dress is definitely going to need some stuff. See how I'm painting through it right now? Because I know that I'm going to have to add some stuff, some form on top of that. Now we can zoom you out so you can see where we're heading with this. Now you can see kind of where we're heading. Okay, so now we're gonna add some form to the shirt, or I keep calling it a shirt, it's a dress. Soften that first. Okay, so I'll switch back to the size 4 filbert brushes. And get to have some fun with this. Size 4 filbert brushes. And we got 3 of them. And you'll see why all that yellow was kind of important at first as we move along. So first, I'm going to work on this light part. Again, the dress is going to be really important, so wet onto wet painting technique for this is vital. Unfortunately, I don't know who would want to buy a print of this. One thing I've always been told is, why would someone buy a portrait of a random person? So I guess making this a little bit stronger in terms of form might make someone interested in this. Okay, let me see here. Dark shapes over here. It's gonna get darker here. Almost black there. Gonna have to use the palette knife to put more yellow over here. Okay, more of a yellow shape. Light for the dress. I have to put some blue. There should be a shadow under here. What you do to one side, you want to do to the other. Now the light for the dress, or these little light details. So the dress is going to be kind of important. Just a little. Painting wet onto wet, there should be some little details under here and over here. Same goes here. Pressure matters. Okay. Now let's see. So that's good for the sleeves. Now let's put some shadow on the dress. Dark shapes. Plain changes. It's gonna be kind of like a corset look. Something like that. Let's get out some yellow. Indian yellow. More Indian yellow. Creates the little folds on the side of the dress. Much more detailed with the 1620. I can't imagine trying to do this with something smaller. Orangey turning plane. Okay. A little bit of light for the top up here, corner of the corset shape or whatever we're gonna call that. Now there'll be some hints of light, highlights. For the dress. Way too bright. Or just right. Indian yellow. A lot of paint on here now. Phew! That's a lot of paint. Oh, that's expensive. That's expensive. Again, thank you so much for the super chats, everybody. This ain't cheap. I may have to cancel my membership to the Billiard Academy to afford this. But I think I'm ready to let pool go. At least for a while. So I got to make monies. Okay, some random lights. Random lights over here. All these fun little details for the dress. Yep. Oh, you got drill work over there also? Yep. Sorry about that sound. Sorry about that core. But as a request from, or a comment that I saw from yesterday, it might be better for me not to turn off the audio. I turned off the audio yesterday to try to ease the sound, but it seems like people just want me to leave it, even though there's drilling going on upstairs. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize we're already past the second hour. Jeez. I didn't pay attention to the time. See, that happens when you're just engulfed with what you're doing. Just kind of forget to check the clock. So let's put in some more plane changes here. And then I guess I'm going to have to take a break. I'll play that oil painting tutorial on how to do alla prima like this. Little plane changes on the edge of the dress. Nice and simple there. As this starts to take form. Okay. So we've got our little planes here. The side of the dress, which is perfect timing now, almost perfect, for us to take a break, and I will play a oil painting tutorial video for you. And when I return, we'll add more subtlety to this painting. that's a good point. Stopping point. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna play a 5-minute oil painting tutorial for you, which is of course in real time. And we will be right back. Welcome to What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another break time quick 5 to 7 minute oil painting. This is just a gessoed piece of wood. It was gessoed with acrylic gesso, and now I have added a thin coat of raw umber and black using a mixture of safflower oil and spike lavender. Now we are going to use the alla prima technique to paint a 5 to 7 minute eye. We're going to start off with white. This is going to create a sphere for us. And this is going to be the eye socket area right here. And down here is going to be the corner of the eye. And this is the edge of the eye socket, and now we have the entire shape for the eye socket. The tear duct will be about here. Next thing we will do is go and get the dark brush. This is going to be just black and raw umber right here. So this is going to be our tear duct. Black and raw umber. This is going to be the end of the eye, and this is going to be the iris. Very simple iris shape there. And now we're going to put in the bottom plane of the upper eyelid, lower eyelid, and the top of the lower eyelid. Very simple, iconic looking eyeball shape. Next, we are going to go in with the light back towards the top of the eye, and this will give us the eyebrow right above. Nice and easy. So there's a quick little eyebrow. The tear duct is going to pick up some light, and this creates the tear bag area. And you want to work with a decent amount of paint so that you can apply different value changes, as you're seeing there, just by modifying how much pressure you put on the brush. So this is the tear duct here. See how it gets lighter? Less pressure will make this less light. And now we're going to have a little bit of light picking up on the top plane of the upper eyelid as it starts to curve around the back side of the eye there. We'll also pick up a little bit of light on the upper eyelid, and we'll also pick up a little bit of light on the top of the eye socket, which is going to create a nice gradation here. And these are just cheap pieces of wood that were gessoed with Liquitex acrylic gesso. They're cheap pieces of wood that are perfect for doing oil painting sketches such as this one. And less pressure is going to make this less bright as we work all the way towards the back side of the eye, finishing the first pass for this eye. Next thing we are going to do is add more light to the top, giving us close to our brightest light. And you can paint this in 5 to 7 minutes at home for practice. Simple practice. Now a little bit of light for the sclera. Remember, the sclera, the white of the eye, is not white, but rather some type of middle value. Now this painting is of course going to be in monochrome, meaning we're not going to add any values. But if you want to add, color, it's going to be in monochrome, which means we're not adding any color. But if you want to add color, you certainly can. But you see how much you can do without any need of color, and see how you can create this little gradation here with just white, black, and umber. And now we're going to add our darkest dark, which is going to be raw umber with a little bit of black for the pupil right there. And depending on the model, there may be some darker eyelashes, so we can add those eyelashes. The dark for the eyelashes here. And it all depends on the model. And we can adjust the eyebrows with the same brush, wet into wet. Depending on if the model has thick eyebrows, soft eyebrows, it's up to you. You can create whatever eyebrows you want. And what I want you to do is, if you can help me out and do this 5 to 7 minute study on Instagram, post it with a hashtag #UpariArtist. And this is the final light. Like I said, that's going to be the brightest light. And that is your 5 to 7 minute simple alla prima wet on wet eye. I hope you enjoyed this break time painting video. Alrighty, we have returned. Hopefully the audio and everything is working all right. Hey Anne, thanks for watching from Italy. So let me know if the audio is working all right for you, and we are going to go ahead and continue this. Now we're gonna jump back to the hands, and yeah, the hands need a little more work. Then maybe some will work on the face and the dress, and yeah, we'll get to moving around. Let's mix up something dark and red. Nice and dark and red. And let's say right over here. I like to use alizarin for this. And light. So let's put a plain change for this knuckle. Plain change for the knuckle there. It gets darker over here. And maybe we'll throw in something for the nail bed. Kind of light with some blue over here. Dark red again. We're going to move to the pointer finger. light. I want to get rid of that outline. And let's add another little thing, a little bit of detail to the dress. After we paint some more for the hands. Thanks for all the likes on the Instagram, by the way, for the post of yesterday's painting. Gets a little red, kind of red pinkish. And we'll put something for the nail bed. Don't we just like painting hands? It's a lot of fun. Painting all these planes. Same thing for this finger, a little bit of light. Go to some reddish color. Plane change for the knuckle. And just like that, we have more form on this hand. Top plane for the knuckle. Okay, now back to the dress. I'm going to switch back to size 4. Bristle brushes. Okay, darken this. We're going to add a little fun element of decor to this dress. A little bit of the background left from earlier. All right, I'll zoom you out so you can see what we're doing in terms of the big picture. Lots of fun with this technique. There's so much we can do in a relatively short amount of time. Some little stylistic things. Some lights to this. Followed by shadow. Nice little details for this. Okay, so now one more little area of decor to the dress. We're going to push the red, orange right above. It's got to have these little folds to it. Make this look 3D. Okay. So that's good with that. Now let's go and what do you say? What do you say? Get back to the face, add some more stuff to the face. I will switch to back to the size 2 filbert brushes. Alright, back to the size 2. A little adjustment to the background here. Okay, let's have some fun with this. So started off with a smiley face. Now we have form. Side plane for the face. This might be a little too narrow. Gives us the little Mona Lisa smile. A light on the chin. Oh, thanks, Celeste. Glad you liked the dress. Let's round that plane out. So far more than just a head study. Okay, now there's going to be some light on the lower eyelid. highlights for the lower eyelids. So now we're gonna add a highlight for the nose. I'm gonna go with, you know what? I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna go with cadmium green. I don't know why I chose that, but I just chose it. The nose may be a little too wide. Don't want to give her my nose. My nose is way too wide. Okay, now we did that. Maybe some adjusting to the forehead. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there, everyone. Okay. Just blur out some edges. And that's simple. It's that simple to add more structure to the face. And now the hair. I got something annoying on my screen. Okay, let's change that. My little streaming software froze for a second. Let me know if everything is everything's okay. Because I had a little lag on my streaming software. Okay, I'll keep the sound on. I'm glad you like to hear my annoying voice. You see the form starting to finalize. Okay, so we still got about almost an hour. Plenty of time. Okie dokie. And I'm just using the skin tone, by the way, to to add these lights. Started off as a smiley face, and now we're here. Okay, so perhaps, let's see, perhaps I want a little less emphasis on this light. That might be too wide, actually. Okay. Just some little adjustments to the shadow shape. A hint, just a little hint of the clavicle. Don't want to overdo that. Okay. Just a trace of something for the clavicle. Suprasternal notch. Right there. Okie dokie. That's good for that. Now let me check on something. I'm just going to stand back for a second. Not really stand back, but just sit back. Make some big decisions here. Okie dokie. So how about this? I'm going to take you all on a joyride. A joyride of sorts that you would have never expected with this painting. As I know that just a random portrait of a random whoever is kind of boring. Let me just do one little adjustment here. I'm going to take you on a journey. A journey that you never saw coming. Now, as you know, I like to do a combination of video with painting. And, I'm exploring pushing that further. For the rest of my life as as my career. But we want to go beyond what we do. And in order to go beyond what we do, we have to push our limits. So, what do you say? We bypass any type of accidental copyright and use the wet on wet painting technique to put in a background here with the final 45 minutes, and we're going to completely transform this painting. I'm going to take you on a very fun trip. Will you like it? Maybe. Maybe not. But in either case, what's the harm? So, in order to avoid copyright, I will not show a reference, but I have a concept in mind. So get ready, because we are going to completely change the composition in the final 45 minutes of this painting. I'm going to take you on a little joyride here as we use the alla prima technique to go to a whole nother level in the next 45 minutes. As you know, I am a fan of Bob Ross. I am going to use his technique for the background. I will not copy any of his paintings. I will not copy any painting, but I may put a little whiff of the Mona Lisa in this background. Perhaps. Let's see. Is that where I want the top of the head to land? Yeah, I guess that is where I want the top of the head to land. Okie dokie. So what would Bob Ross do? Crisscross shapes for clouds, and we're going to paint a somewhat cloudy, turbulent sky. Crisscross looking shapes. And some of you at home are like, well, there he goes. He had to ruin it. But let me tell you something. There are enough paintings, Rembrandt-looking paintings, with somebody sitting in a blank stare with nothing going on with the environment. Crisscross little shapes, turbulent little clouds is what we're painting in the sky. And this cloud, of course, he or she has a friend. Turbulent little clouds. And we'll use the phthalo blue to add some little hints of skylight. Over here, hey Rock Flower, you joined for something epic. I'm taking you all on an epic ride across all of the possibilities in painting. Yep, all of the possibilities in painting. Now, where is the sky going to end? Where's this turbulent looking sky going to end? Probably right about neck level. Something about like there. And I need it to be a little brighter. So again, another little cloud with a friend underneath. He or she, they, however you call it. A little cloud right there. All we want to do is share and spread love, peace, and the joy, shall I say, without any copyright, the joy of existing. Just existing. How about that? Avoiding all types of copyright. Now this is going to blend down towards the bottom, and we're going to enter a different plane. So how about this plane turns into, I don't know, maybe a tree area, maybe a mountain area. I don't know, but there's definitely going to be something light underneath of it. So let's paint something light underneath of it first. Something light with a little bit of cadmium green over here. And listen to the sound of the wet on wet painting technique. Again, paying homage to Bob Ross, Bill Alexander, and all of those that came before us. Our turbulent little landscape. Okay, so a little bit of a light green there. And now what do you say we go to the blue and add something here? Who knows what it's going to be? We don't know. I don't know. Could be trees. could be a mountain. All we know is that these are fun little shapes. Would add a squirrel. Yeah, maybe Bob Ross would add a squirrel. Turbulent little strange things in the background there. Who knows what that is? I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. Now let's add something kind of light, yellow brown over here. Maybe a touch of red for a different plane. Listen to the sound. Of the paintbrush. Just a fun little plane change there. Who knows what it is? It's just a plane change. And let's let this go all the way down as it gets slightly lighter towards the edge. Maybe a tad bit of yellow. Who knows? It could be some sand. Your guess is as good as mine. And just like that, all of a sudden, there's something else going on in the background. So what do you say we put a little spiral in the background, right around here? What it leads to, I don't know. But perhaps there's a plane over here that has some more red. What will it be? I don't know. Who knows? Now again, I'm doing this to show you that it really is up to us to do whatever we want to this canvas. Let's say there's some perspective and this would get thicker. Maybe this is a road to something. Perhaps it's a road to who knows what. Do you know? I don't. And maybe there's something red. Kind of like a deep red. Somewhere over there. A deep red. And then maybe there's some red here too. Some distant little planes. Who knows what's there? And then maybe there's some light over here. What it is? I don't know. It's kind of similar to the skin tone, but different in some ways. Distant planes. Who knows what it is? Now maybe the cadmium green, along with whatever's on the brush, will give us some kind of plane change over here. What is this strange world? Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue. I'm just the messenger. Now maybe we have another plane. Perhaps we have another plane here. Who knows? We're making it up. It's our world. Just like Mr. Ross would say. Little bit of light there. And who knows? Who knows what that's gonna be? You tell me. Hey Gigi Ron, I'm doing well. How you doing? We're totally changing everything here. Having fun with this background. Okay, and maybe we can get the palette knife and again, honor, not copy, just honor those that came before us. Some little mountains back here. Thanks, Gigi Ron. Some little distant mountains back here. Like I said before, there are enough paintings like this. Gigi Ron, this is both imagination and reference. Both imagination and reference. Distant little mountains back there. We have some turbulence there. And let's get the brush. Any brush. We'll go with a light grayish blue. And we'll add some definition to the background. By both, I mean I had a reference for the face and I had a reference for the background. Actually, I had two references for the background. But I can't paint exactly what the references are showing, so I'm changing it up to create something unique. What we did to the background, it's totally up to us for this composition. Now let this blend out a little bit. Now you see the power of this technique. Just let it blend up towards the clouds. All of a sudden, I took you to a new world. A journey you never knew that you were going to go on. Gigi Ron, the best is, I think, other than doing self-portraits, pictures from the old masters, like Rembrandt, but what I use is Unsplash or Pixabay, but I cannot show the references because it says copyright free, but it doesn't always mean copyright free forever, unfortunately. Okay, again, honor, but not copy. Some lights. For these mountains. Now obviously that value is too bright, so I'm going to blend away. Honor, not copy. Little planes of light. Little planes of light. I paint the 3.5 hours, so we've got 30 minutes still on this one. So this painting has 3 hours worth of work now. Okay, so now, what do you say? What do you say? We change up her hair. Now we will change anything and everything we want to with these paintings. Once again, it's your world, it's my world with this painting, so I can do whatever I want. Say she went to the hair salon and got some red tips on her hair. Say she tipped her hair salon person, whatever, really well. So all of a sudden now, she has left the 18th century, or the 17th century, whichever she was in before, and now entered modern times, where you can dye your hair, but just the bottom part of her hair. Oh, how many years? I've been painting, so I'm 34, and I started my, let's say, academic painting when I was 17. But I've been drawing and painting since elementary school. So over 20 years. I would always get in trouble by drawing in class, so yeah. And let's say her hair has a really bright red streak here. Really bright red streak over there. Again, I'm no hairstylist, but it might be interesting to have that shape right here. Bright red streak. Again, this is wet on wet painting, so we can do anything we want. It's our world. We do what we want. Now all of a sudden, we're in modern times. At least in the 20th century. Though I'm sure people were dyeing their hair even as far back as the 17th century. I don't know. All I know about is planes, color, form, perspective. That's about it. Maybe a little bit of anatomy. Alright. Now that we've added some red elements to the hair, what do you say? What do you say? What do you say? What do we do? I'm running out of ideas. So, I don't know. I've had some fun with this. I wonder if you can see the top of the head. Kind of. Yeah. Let's adjust the height. This might be too tall for the hair. So let's get a different brush. Let's adjust it. Nice sharp edge. Gives us a glow. Nice little glow. And we'll blur out the glow. And you probably thought I was just going to paint that usual person with the dark background and nothing else. You probably thought that. Turbulent clouds. Fun, turbulent little clouds. I bet you didn't think you'd see this on YouTube. Very different. Very different. Okie dokie. Well, we are still got 20 minutes. We still got 20 minutes. Now, I don't want to add too many different value changes in the background, so I'll kind of keep it at that. Hey, Celeste. Ah, there you go. I was waiting to see who would catch on to that. Yeah, the only thing I really took from the Da Vinci landscape was this. But you found it. You found it. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. You figured it out. Combination of Da Vinci, YouTube stuff, and Bob Ross. Okay. Well. What do we do now? Yeah, I'm glad you caught on to that. Let's zoom into the face. Okay. Now, because the dress is yellow, and because we can do whatever we want to this painting, we are going to add an element that you would never guess. Never guess. And that's going to involve my Shiba Inu. So we'll say that this model that's posing here is a fan of the Shiba Inu. And yes, I do have a Shiba Inu named Hugo. And she's dressed up for whatever reason. But now, she's going to be wearing something on her head. Yep, she's going to be wearing something on her head. You probably already guessed it, what she'll be wearing. And she's looking off to the side like, I can't believe I'm wearing this. Yes, you would never guess. You'd never guess that it was going to get to this point. But it did. It got to this point. Now I know part of the top is cropped off, but yep, we're gonna have Shiba Inu ears, or pig ears, as it's starting to resemble pig ears, but yep, we're going there. Now the light over here. Let's go back to the dark. Who knows? Could be Halloween. I don't know. All I know is I definitely need the yellow. The Shiba Inu. It's definitely yellow. Definitely yellow on top of her head. So once again, pushing the limits of what we can do. Now it's almost like a Shiba standing behind. Now Shiba ears are pointy. Sometimes they can be round. That gives us the yellow that we need. Now the light. Of course, there would be a top plane there. I definitely need a bigger palette. As much as I like this palette, I think I need a bigger one. Shiba Inu ears. Let's put a blue, whatchamacallit, whatever the thing is called that holds the fake ears on their head. Didn't I say blue? I didn't put enough paint. Something like that. And some light underneath. Yeah, tiara. I guess that's what it's called. I don't know. Alright, so now we'll put the rest of the glow. Now we'll zoom out. And I know you can't quite see the top of that. So it's kind of a mystery. Kind of a mystery. Headband? Probably. Maybe that's what it's called. So she's wearing Shiba Inu ears on her head. Why? Because we can. Okay. So it's just above. So it won't take up too much attention. So now we've got about 10 minutes left. And with the final 10 minutes, let's say, what do you say we give her a necklace? Totally making these things up. Zoom you back in. How old is the model in dog ears? That's a good one. Well, that's a good one. Okie dokie. How about we have some fun with this? Let's go with this red. A red square. And let's make sure that it has a shadow. So we'll use alizarin. Appreciate all the likes, everybody. How old is the model in dog ears? That's a good one. And a light, little highlight for this red thing. Oops, too bright. And the necklace maybe has some little highlights on the metallic part. And we'll switch to the Silverbrush. And we'll go back to the red. Now, what's the one thing that you can paint on YouTube that YouTube will most likely agree and not try to penalize you? What would that be? A YouTube painter that's into classical painting, has a Shiba Inu, loves portrait painting. What can we add here that won't get us into any trouble? Well, there's something obvious. It's the YouTube play button. Who would have thought that? And of course, YouTube won't give us any problems because you probably pressed on a button similar to that. Of course, now that I painted that in there, I am going to... Hey people, probably I could generate images with AI, but I'm just having fun just making things up here. Put a little metallic shape here. Just for fun. Yeah. We definitely went there today. And the red by itself is a bullseye, so we have to add red details to the dress. So that the red doesn't have too much going on. Now you definitely know that I'm not sticking to any one reference. It's a sort of an autobiography of sorts. Kind of an autobiography. And yes, there will be prints available of this. I'm almost certain somebody's going to want a print of this. I mean, I would hope so. To what lengths do I have to go for you to want an art print of mine? Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun. Okay, got the final 6 minutes. Oh, thanks, Celeste. And there's one thing. Oh man, there's so many things that could be added to this. So many things. But focusing on the form and the composition is more important than adding things just for fun. So let's go back to the glow of the model. We have to do it because without a glow, this is going to take too much attention. As I'm sure, I would hope that this video will do well on YouTube. I mean, come on. What I titled it Free 3-Hour Lesson, and I don't think we even broke 400 views. What do you gotta do around here? Now we're gonna have to push the glow. A mustache. Oh man, one of those things. What mustache is one of those. I could add that digitally, but you know, this is the Deadpool of oil paintings. Like, there's only so far that Deadpool will go. This is the Deadpool of oil paintings on YouTube. And come on, everybody, like and share. This is insanity at its finest. I hope. Well, one thing I know for sure is I need a bigger palette. Thanks, Rockflower62. Yep, I'll be here tomorrow. Oh, probably. Maybe that's true. We'll see how this one goes. I'm hoping the print sales of this will be good. We'll find out. Alright, so we emphasize the glow. Try to keep some of the clouds. Try to keep some clouds back there. Okay, so we have emphasized the glow. And still an emphasis on composition. Obviously now this is going to be what you see first right here before getting drawn there. So it's like 1, 2, 3 dress. The dress is 3, and 4 the hands, and then finally you notice something in the background. So that was fun. Definitely went way out there with this one, though it didn't really need to get pushed to this level, but I kind of felt like it was time. Let's fix the arm before we go. And by fix I mean just the edge. Obviously this forearm is a little long, so let's just adjust the edge first before we sign it. Thanks, GG. Okay, just adjusted that edge. Now this is a little long, but I don't care. It's not that big of a deal for me. Oh, right, Tipu, that's funny. Alright, let's go ahead and sign this one, and I think I'm gonna sign it, I don't know. Where am I gonna sign it? Probably over here. Yeah, over here with the watercolor brush. Though I won't zoom in to the signing because I hope that YouTube turns this into the thumbnail. If not, it's okay, I can edit it later. So, this was fun, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Thanks, Celeste. And we'll just put the 25 You know what? I'm not putting a 25 on this one. I'm not. I don't feel like it. I don't want to put a 25 on this one. We'll leave it timeless. It'll have just my name here, and the rest will be as it is. I'm glad you liked this painting, Celeste. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this. Definitely different from what you're used to. I guess you're used to seeing me do on YouTube. Probably different than what most people will do, but that's what we're doing. We're pushing the limits of what is possible. So once again, the schedule is Monday through Friday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and we paint all the way up until 5 o'clock p.m. Again, Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Also, thank you so much to all of the super chats, everyone that gave me super chats today. Thank you all so much. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.